Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Would you give up everything for the one you love? And I don't just mean that cute, I'll buy you a coffee kind of love, but the real deal, ride or die. I'm willing to lose myself to be with you kind of love. It's a question we all face at some point, either on a grand scale or in more subtle ways. But is it really worth it? Let's dive in and find out. The idea of sacrifice in relationships is a concept that's been romanticized for centuries. Think about it. All those grand gestures in movies where someone walks away from their job, their dreams, or even their family for love. But when the dust settles, we have to ask ourselves, is it really worth it to give up everything for someone else? On the surface, it sounds noble, doesn't it? It's the epitome of devotion. I'll give up everything for you, my darling. But dig a little deeper, and things get murky. We'll talk about the balance between love and personal well-being because, spoiler alert, losing yourself entirely in a relationship is rarely as satisfying as it sounds. Okay, let's get real. Relationships are hard, and sometimes they require sacrifice. That's just part of the deal. You compromise, you adjust, and you make sure your partner's needs are met. But where's the line? When does compromise turn into self-neglect? Here's the tricky part. Giving up everything for someone else sounds like the ultimate act of love, but in practice, it can come with some serious emotional baggage. Maybe it's your career goals, your hobbies, your friends, or even your sense of self that gets put on a chopping block. For instance, how many times have you heard about someone quitting their job, moving across the country, or even giving up on their dreams just to be with someone else? Sure, it seems romantic, but what happens after the honeymoon phase wears off and you start wondering where you went in the process? What happens when you realize you've lost a part of yourself to keep someone else happy? And here's the kicker. That person might not even realize the toll it's taking on you. This isn't necessarily about blame. It's more about the fact that relationships, while important, shouldn't come at the cost of your identity. Sacrificing your sense of self might seem like an act of love at first, but it can quickly spiral into resentment, frustration, and burnout. Let's look at some real-life scenarios, because trust me, we've all been there, at least in some form. Scenario 1, the career sacrifice. Imagine you're in a relationship and your partner gets a job offer in another city, let's say across the country. You've been working for years to climb the career ladder, but suddenly you're faced with the choice. Do you drop everything, pack up, and follow them? Or do you stay and risk the relationship falling apart? It seems like an obvious choice, right? Love, obviously. But let's dig deeper. If you follow them, you're not just changing cities, you're changing your life. You might have to leave your friends, give up your career trajectory, and put your goals on the back burner. All for the person you love. But here's the thing. Love should enhance your life, not derail it. When you sacrifice too much, you might start resenting the very person you did it all for. And that's not fair to either of you. And this is a real thing. I know people who made that huge sacrifice, only to feel stuck and unfulfilled a few years down the line. They started to wonder if their partner even cared about the price they paid. This is where the love yourself first advice starts to make a lot more sense. You've got to keep your dreams alive, because if you lose those, there's not much left to offer in a relationship, is there? Scenario 2, the personality sacrifice. Another common scenario. Let's say you're someone who loves to be social, always out with friends, going to concerts, or just enjoying life. But then you meet someone who's more introverted. They prefer quiet nights in, binge watching Netflix, which, hey, sounds tempting at times, right? So, to make them happy, you start staying home more, canceling plans, and cutting ties with people you care about. Now you may think, no big deal, right? I love this person. I'll just adjust. But slowly something happens. Your social life shrinks. Your friendships weaken. You feel more isolated, and honestly, you start questioning why you ever gave up those things in the first place. This scenario is especially common early in relationships, where people think they need to change themselves to match their partner. The truth? You can't be someone else and expect to have a fulfilling relationship. If you're someone who thrives on socializing, you shouldn't have to apologize for it. Sacrificing your identity just to be what someone else wants you to be is never a good long-term strategy. Now, I'm not saying that every relationship is doomed to failure if you make a few sacrifices. We all make adjustments, especially in the early days. But at some point, if you're constantly suppressing your own needs, the relationship becomes more about surviving than thriving. Here's the hard part. Sometimes self-love and boundaries are the best acts of love you can offer. It's not about being selfish. It's about being healthy. A healthy relationship isn't one where you give up everything for the other person. It's one where both people can grow and thrive individually and come together to support each other. In fact, maintaining a sense of individuality in a relationship is crucial. When you take care of yourself, you have more to offer to your partner. Imagine this. You keep your hobbies, your job, your friends. You're a whole person, not just a half waiting to be completed by someone else. That's when love gets real. It's not about sacrifice. It's about mutual respect and balance. Here's a fun thought experiment. Would you sacrifice yourself for love if it meant you were no longer a person your partner could actually love? The answer is pretty clear, right? You can't lose yourself and expect someone to continue to love the version of you that's left. That's a formula for disappointment. So, is giving up everything for the one you love ever worth it? The short answer, not really. While love is important, it should never come at the cost of your own well-being or identity. Yes, relationships require sacrifice, but they should never require the loss of who you are. The healthiest relationships are those where both people can maintain their sense of self while supporting each other's growth. Remember, you're not a puzzle piece that completes someone else's picture. You're a full, vibrant person on your own. And when both people in a relationship respect and nurture that individuality, the love will be that much stronger. All right, now it's your turn. Have you ever been in a relationship where you gave up more than you should have? Or maybe you're in one right now and wondering if you're losing yourself. Drop a comment below. Your thoughts may really help someone else. And remember, love doesn't mean losing yourself. It means supporting and growing together. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And as always, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.